Hi, and good evening from a quite cool April evening in Spain. It's amazing. This global warming seems to be making everything much colder here. Anyway, what are we going to talk about today? Well, Trump, I hear, has now temporarily decided to stop all immigration into America. You hoarders, frankly, are murdering bastards. It's about time you realise what arseholes you really are in difficult times, in really difficult times. We Brits, and I think you'll find the same was in every country, we came together as a community and looked after our weak and vulnerable. There are those, of course, on the left who are saying this is just a way of covering up his mistakes or showing how racist he is and all that. But in fact, his given reasons are, first of all, to protect the health of the American citizen, which I think is very sensible. There are an awful lot of people who say the same thing about Britain. And also, of course, to protect American jobs. You know, they've got something like 10 million people now losing their jobs over the period of the COVID-19 thing, which would be equivalent to about 3 million British people losing their jobs, which is a phenomenal number. It's about 13.5% of the workforce, I believe. Thing is that travel bans can potentially save thousands of lives. Here in Malaga, we find that in the last 48 hours, there have been something like 50 new cases of COVID-19 and no deaths. And everything here has been locked down since the middle of March, since the beginning of March, actually, almost, about the 12th, something like that, of March. And it seems to be working. Thing is, though, what is the point of having a lockdown? Because they seem to be working, certainly in Spain. But what is the point of having a lockdown if the ports are still open? I mean, you know, you look at the UK, look at the incoming streams of people that we've got. They're coming in through the airports. We've got people being repatriated from all over the world, from hotspots like Pakistan, Italy, even China. You know, doesn't matter where people are from. And it's not just that they're coming back and people will say, well, they've got to come home. The fact is that the people arriving through the airports are not being checked, they're not being quarantined, they're just leaving the airport, getting on a train, a bus, or in a taxi, and going miles and miles to wherever it is that they live, and then walking home from the bus station or the tube station, wherever it may be, and potentially spreading the virus. Now, what on earth is the point of having a lockdown when you have great big... It's like having a hole in the bucket. What is the point of repairing 3 of the 4 holes? If you've got a hole, it's going to leak. That's just absolutely stupid. The other big leak that we've got, apart from the airports, of course, is the English Channel. We're having people being escorted by the French, who have been paid to stop this from happening, halfway across the Channel, to be picked up by the Royal Navy or the Coast Guard or whatever and brought into the UK. The people that are coming over here, and don't start trying to tell me that they're refugees. Refugees are fleeing war-torn areas or sickness or some sort of catastrophe in their lands. Whereas, in fact, as far as I'm aware, there is no war in France at the moment. So I don't see any reason why you can call them refugees. As soon as they cross through several safe countries, they are no longer refugees. Of course, from an economic point of view, we don't really want too many immigrants coming in. We've already had a load of crop pickers coming in from Romania. And this is despite the fact there have been tens of thousands of applicants from the UK. So don't ever tell me that the British won't work or don't want to work, because they do. It is sensible to bring some skilled people in from abroad because we haven't got enough skilled people in the UK. We've allowed ourselves to use foreign labour for whatever reason. The accusation, of course, is that they're a good deal cheaper. They'll work in the worst conditions. They'll work 14-hour days and then go and sleep in tents and sheds and things, whatever is is said about them, which the British, of course, frankly, quite rightly, refuse to do. My view is that we should train our own people, and we should be willing to pay more for our apples and pears so that we can pay the crop pickers a decent wage. So from an economic point of view, obviously, it's good to have some controls, but those controls don't mean an all-out ban, because we need people. It's quite right what people say. We do need a lot of people. We don't necessarily have to rely on as many as we do, but we do need some. But there are a number of people that I really don't want to come into this country. I don't want criminals coming in here. I don't want rapists. I don't want racists. I don't want misogynists. I don't want people who think it's okay to kill their own children just because they don't like their boyfriend. I don't want disease carriers coming in. If they are, then we've got to sort of say, okay, certainly in times like this, we need quarantines. I don't want people who want to come in and destroy my culture. I don't mind my culture being enhanced. I do believe that a bit of foreign culture is good. I'm half Dutch myself, incidentally, and I quite like various of the Dutch food, including the raw herring, which I know a lot of English people find themselves unable to stomach. I love it. And also, I think we can learn a lot from people like the Hindus, for example. I mean, the Hindus open their temples at Christmas to feed homeless people. This is a Christian festival, and the Hindus are saying, "Come on, chaps, you're on the street. This is a difficult time of year. It's difficult all the time, but particularly at Christmas when everybody else is having good fun. Come to us. We're Hindus. We will feed you." The Sikhs as well, wonderful people, do all sorts of wonderful things in the community. No problem with them at all. They are not, of course, trying to force me to live their way, which is a help. They live alongside us. That's great. I think that's wonderful. And they get on. We get on with them. People I do want in, apart from Hindus and Sikhs, of course, is anyone, whatever race, whatever country they come from. But I do want them to have some of the skills and qualifications that we need. So yeah, okay, doctors, hairdressers, even there's a shortage. Plumbers, we could do with the odd plumber here and there. But we will be needing to bring our economy back after the lockdown and everything is finished. And what we will need is people that have got the skills that we need to rebuild the economy. We don't need any more unskilled people. We've got enough unskilled people. And we certainly don't want people who are going to force us to live their way, which is what seems to happen. They make so many demands. You will do this, you will do that because we say so. Now, hang on a minute, you're 5% of the population. How come you're telling me that I must do? Surely the 95% should have the say, but there you go. I don't mind you doing your own thing in your own home. The same as I will here in Spain, or when I lived in France, I did the same thing. When I was out and about, I had I stuck to French way of life. It's very difficult learning to drink all that wine, I can tell you. And it's not racist. It really is not racist to want to protect the health and both the physical health and the economic health of your own people. And anybody that says otherwise is stupid.